Good morning, guys. So today I am going to read out of 1 Samuel chapter 15, and I'm going to read verses 22 and 23. Samuel said, "Has the Lord as much delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of divination, and insubordination is as iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has also rejected you for being king." Now, this was Samuel's response to Saul after Saul defeated the Amalekites. Saul was supposed to destroy everything of the Amalekites. The people, all the people, and all the livestock. I mean, just everything was supposed to be laid. Nothing was supposed to be left alive or standing. But Saul left the king alive, and he also left the best of all the livestocks alive, the very best left alive and kept. He didn't do what God had instructed him to and wipe it all out. So Saul gets told this by Samuel because in reality, God just wants us to obey him. He wants our love unconditionally, and he wants us to worship him. God could care less in this time, and well, even today, about any sacrifices we make. He wants us to obey him. So I guess the best analogy to our day and time would be our tithing, I guess, would be the closest thing to sacrificing. So if you have the money to tithe, like you usually do every Sunday, but the Lord tells you to use that money to help somebody out in need, then you need to help somebody out in need with that money and not give it to the plate on Sunday, because the Lord wants you to help that person over receiving that money for the church. Or, the Lord may direct you to go see an ailing family member, or a dying parents, instead of going to church. The Lord might want you to go see somebody to take care of them. And so, even though you might not go to, if you obey him and go do what he wants you to do, as opposed to, well, I'm just going to go to corporate church because that's what I'm supposed to do, that's not going to make God happy. God will not be happy because you disobeyed him, because, one, you are basically telling God you know what's better than what he does, and that's never the case. And two, you're not listening to him. You're not listening to what he's telling you. It's disobedience. It's disobedience. So I guess those would be the closest things that I could come to that I can think of that would be relevant to us in this day and age, as far as obeying the Lord over whatever you do. I guess you could say traditionally, because I know one of the biggest problems that Jesus had with the Pharisees was the fact that they were so hung up on tradition to the point that they were completely disobedient and not even considering what God wanted. But whenever we rebel against God, by not listening to Him, not doing what He tells us to do, we're being insubordinate to Him. And that's a sin. We're placing whatever we are doing, as opposed to what He's saying, we're putting that thing above Him, which becomes like an idol. And that's where Samuel comes with the idolatry. But all that said and done, because Saul had disobeyed God in such a way, God had decided to rejected Saul as being king over the Israelites. In fact, I think somewhere in the chapter of God was remorseful that He made Saul king over the Israelites, because Saul turned away and stopped listening to God and started doing things on his own judgment, because either he thought it was better, his decision was better than God's, or two, Saul was very fearful, I think, of how the Israelites looked upon him, or fearful of what they might do if he didn't want to do what the people wanted him to do. And there we go again. Because of that, Saul's not obeying God, he's obeying man. And that is the one thing that we are not supposed to do. We're supposed to obey what God tells us to do, through and through. So, but because of Saul's disobedience, Saul's sin, it cost him the kingdom of Israel. And his kingdom was given to somebody else, which of course we know is David. So the question for you today, I guess, is it worth losing everything for you to not listen to and to not obey God? Because I know for me, it's not, and the sad part is, I know I'm going to fail at that every day in some form or fashion. And I just pray that He forgives me every time I falter, and I pray that He also helps me learn from the mistake I made, so that I don't do it again. Anyways, I love you guys, and y'all have a blessed day.